Hello and welcome to this new tutorial. Many of you asked me if I could make more Behringer content for the 2600, and yeah, I mean, here it is. So this is more or less on request, and yeah, I thought about maybe it's a good idea to get a bit more specific into sound design, and yeah, just as a start, I would like to create analog drum sounds with the Behringer 2600 and make a tutorial about it. So yeah, this is how I do it. I'm using the Maschine Plus as a sampler and sequencer. So this kind, yeah, this way I can make my own kind of analog drum machine with that setup. But of course, you can use any DAW for record and triggering, and also other samplers like the MPC or whatever. Yeah, so let's get right into it. So first thing we need to make sure is to hear the sound which is coming from the 2600. It's connected via its audio output to the input 1 of the Maschine, and the MIDI input of the 2600 is connected to the MIDI out of the Maschine Plus. So now I can trigger the sounds and record them back. Yeah, so let's turn this up, the initial gain up, and yeah, let's add some noise and oscillator source so we can hear something. And now I need to activate the monitoring in the Maschine in order to be able to hear it. So I need to go into the sampling page, and on page 2 I just choose the mono input because it's just connected with one cable, input 1, and turn the monitor on. Yeah, so there it is. And now I need to set the set up the MIDI to make it trigger this thing. So now if I play a pad, you can't hear nothing. So I need to go into the channel settings. The MIDI output, it's on page 3. So page 1, page 2, page 3. And then I set it to Maschine Plus MIDI out. And now I should be able to hear it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this works. Yeah, first thing I like to do is to create the bass drum. And this is like the most easiest way for me to do this is to use the sine wave of the filter unit. So I need to set this to self-resonance and then find the fundamental frequency somewhere around here maybe. Yeah, now you can hear some, if I release the note, you can hear this click. So you need to turn up the release on the AR. Yeah, that's much better. And yeah, so this is for the fundamental frequency, for the body of the bass drum, and now I need to add some punch. For this I use the ADSR just to form, yeah, to give it a little bit of attack. Yeah. What's interesting about the 2600, and the original is no difference in this regard, if you listen closely, like all the envelope times are set to 0 now, like 0 attack, 0 decay, 0 sustain level, and 0 release. But still, can you hear it? Ooh, so it's still shaping the sound, so there's always some kind of decay, which is like, yeah, it's coming after the normal decay time. So if I turn this up, the decay time, can you hear it? And it's still, after the filter frequency is coming down from the decay time, it's still, there's still some decay phase. But that's pretty cool for creating these analog bass drum sounds. So there's a kind of double decay going on. Yeah, let's set up a step sequence, and Okay. So now the machine is triggering the Behringer, and I can shape the sound. Yeah. That's kind of nice. Let's set the tempo a bit higher. And I don't know if you can hear it, but if you listen carefully to the attack phase, there's a kind of double trigger going on. Like it's a bit laggy. It's not really precise. And that's like a shortcoming of the Behringer especially. That the cork doesn't do it and the original up also doesn't do it. And that's because the gate and the trigger signals are not coming exactly at the same time. So there's always some kind of drift in between the gate and the trigger. But both of these are needed to trigger the ADSR envelope generator. The gate signal is triggering the AR, and gate and trigger are triggering the ADSR. Yeah. And to avoid this, you can just use, that's what I do at least, you can use the gate output. Let's take another cable. You can use the gate output from the internal MIDI converter and then patch it into the trigger input here. And bam. Now it's much more precise and much more even. So if you compare, if I turn this off, and so this is much better. Yeah, and that's what I usually do. Okay, so now we have created our bass drum sound. Next thing I want to do is to sample it. So I go into sampling again, and then I set the mode. Right now it's recording in sync mode, like it will record one bar of this sequence. This is pretty cool if you're just planning to use it as a loop later on. So I just leave it like this, and now if I press start, what happens, it will wait for the next bar. So here you can see like the timing, the start of the bar, this is the end. And if I press start, it will just start on the next bar and record for one bar length. Let's do this. Yeah, it's waiting, and now it's recording, and there it is. Yeah, now you need to turn off the monitor. Otherwise you hear a kind of flam because you're hearing the input and the internal sound now. So let's go into the monitor and turn this off. And also I will turn the MIDI output off because now this channel doesn't need to trigger the Behringer anymore. Okay. Yeah, now I have a sample. And now you can play with it, like create all kinds of sound with it. You can even pitch it. Yeah. But let's leave it here. So the next thing I want to record is now, let's say a snare drum. So I go into pad mode, choose another drum pad, and I need to repeat this process. So go into sampling mode, turn monitor on. Wait a minute, here is some kind of hanging note now. So I need to repeat this process and then turn the monitor on. So I can hear this, but still there's no triggering, so I need to set the MIDI destination again, turn it to Maschine Plus, turn it to channel 1. There it is again. And now I have the sound set up for this pad. Let's make a simple snare drum. I just use the noise generator. Oh, okay, that's a bit loud. So the best way to tame this a bit is I'm using the ADSR envelope generator. Set it into the linear input, and This way I have much more control over it. Yeah, that was wrong. I need to I need to use the output, of course. Okay, so let's create another step sequence. Let's listen. Yeah, that's just a simple bass drum and a simple snare drum. So I will record that one again. Same procedure. Yeah, now it's there. And as you can see now, because the sound was triggered like on the 2 and the 4, you don't have, yeah, you need to set the start of the sound or use it as a loop. And that's what I do now. So I will just turn off these steps, turn off the MIDI output, and go into the plugin instance. Right now it's a sampler. So if I just play this pad, I really need to wait for it to start. And if you set it to audio player, then it will play as a loop together with the other sound. And that's pretty easy. You just need to press the encoder, set it to audio, enter, and then, yeah, now it's perfect. Now it's running in time. Maybe it's a bit loud. Okay. So, and the next sound, let's create just a simple hi-hat. I will also use the noise generator for this. Yeah, again, I need to set this up. Monitor is on for 3. What about MIDI? Okay, the MIDI destination, channel 1. There it is again. So I will just create a really simple hi-hat sound. Let's create a step sequence. Yeah, so the sound is now, yeah, not so cool. It's pretty long, so I need to set the MIDI notes a bit shorter. So let's do this. I will just go into the note length, and then set it to maybe just around 100. Yeah, that's much better, but still the sound, I mean, it's still the same noise as the snare. And what I like to do is to create a kind of high-pass filter with the 2600, with its low-pass filter and an inverter. So I can take the noise generator output, put it into the ring mod in, and this input is inverted. And if I blend these together, I now have a high-pass filter. Yeah. So now I can record it. Go into sampling and record it. Yeah, there it is. And now I can turn the monitor off. And as you can see, it's still in sampler mode. And I leave it like this because now it's pretty cool. I can just put in some notes, and yeah, it will always trigger the same sound, but that's cool. That's okay. Yeah, so what's next? I would say yeah, maybe let's create a percussion sound, like this typical 80s ring mod percussion sound. So I will just remove these patch cords and go into the next pad to sample it. And yeah, let's just trigger the sound with the step sequencer. I will just put in some eighth notes. And I need to, of course, turn the monitor on and turn the MIDI on. Okay, there we are. Okay. And now let's create the sound. So let's blend in the ring mod. So what I like to do is to use the trigger output, the gate output, and trigger the sample and hold unit. And the output of the sample and hold, I will just modulate the pitch of oscillator 2. Yeah. Let's add some reverb here. And now you have yeah, pretty interesting sound. The thing with this sound is if you sample it now, like for 1 bar, then it will repeat for 1 bar. So in order to yeah, either you will just play it live together with your drums to have some kind of more like diversity of the sound going on, or you would just need to set a longer loop to record it. So if I go into sampling, and then if I'm in sync mode, maybe I set it to, I don't know, 16 bars or 3 even. Then it just records until I stop. But 16 bars seems to be fine, so let's just record it. And bam. And also I need to set this plugin again to audio playback mode. And let's listen how this sounds. Oh, wait a minute, I need to turn off the MIDI for this one. And also I guess the MIDI for this pad is also still on. So that's what I forgot. That's why you could hear like 16th notes instead of 8th. Okay, how does it sound? Yeah, now it repeats every bar because the other loops are just 1 bar long, so I really need to make these longer as well. So let's go into the step editor and then make 16 bars. Now we have 8 bars, 16 bars. Yeah. Now it's perfect. So okay, so far so good. Yeah, that's how I'm doing it, how I'm creating the stuff, and in a very simple way, you can go much deeper with that. And if you like, I could also make single tutorials for certain drum sounds, like if you want to know more about it, maybe just leave a comment below. And yeah, I hope you liked it, and see you next time.